I want to go to Pauline Hanson now, who joins us from Cairns in Queensland. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. I want to go straight to one of your key issues, and that is immigration. We're seeing reports about possible coalition policy going into the election on foreign students, and that is putting some hard caps on universities over the number of foreign students they're allowing into the country. This is important, isn't it? Because this has become one of the backdoor ways by which we get much higher immigration rates than any government seems to plan for.
That's absolutely correct, Chris. In February, they brought in about 200,000 foreign students into the country. It's unsustainable and we can't do it. A lot of these students actually don't spend a lot of time at universities. But to tell you that these students here, foreign students in Australia that come here, work to the extent that they can send back $11 billion a year to their respective countries. So they're working to send money back. They use it as a backdoor to get into permanent residency into the country. It has to be reviewed, it has to be looked at. One stage we had over 700,000 foreign students in Australia. Who's profiting out of this is the universities, and still we prop them up and we pay a lot of taxes to them. Universities were built for the Australian students. That's what I'd like to see, utilised for Australian kids to go into universities. They shouldn't be there as a business end of town for foreign students.
You've got to wait and see the detail on that. The coalition also talking about adding to the character test and asking people about anti-Semitism. Now, I don't know whether you ask someone whether they're anti-Semitic, they're actually going to say, yes, I am. But it shows that the people are at least concerned about some of the characters we're allowing into the country.
It does, and we've seen that over the years. The people that we brought out here, especially ones that, come here, they don't assimilate into our country. We know that also, Chris, from the people from the countries that apply to come here to Australia. Like we've seen with Gaza, you don't bring people out from Gaza when 75% of them support and back Hamas. Why would you bring those type of people out into the country? I've spoken about the makeup of people, where they come from. We don't have a strong enough allegiance in our citizenship oath that people give to Australia. But, to give out citizenship within 4 years, I think that's ridiculous in itself. People must prove themselves, and I wouldn't hand out citizenship as willy-nilly as we do. I think we need to toughen up our rules and regulations before we allow people to become citizens of Australia. We need to toughen up.
Just briefly, in the lead up to the election, you've been a tried and tested political brand over many decades now and many elections. You polled about 5% nationally at the last federal poll. Current polling has you at 7 to 9%, possibly getting close to doubling your vote. This means that you're going to be even more important with your preferences around the country. Do you expect that you're going to help deliver a lot more Liberal seats, a lot more coalition seats to the coalition come election day?
Well, I am a Conservative at heart, and the Labor Party's policies don't endear me to actually want to support them, because I think that the Labor Party's policy, especially on the cost of living, the renewables, this is actually destroying the economy and prosperity of the nation. And also they've done nothing about industries, manufacturing, lowering the cost of electricity. How could I possibly support that? They're in with the bed with the Greens. There's no Greens policy that I really do support anyway, but it is very important. Although people can vote for whoever they want to in the lower house, what's important is that to give One Nation the vote in the upper house and the Senate, because therefore we can look at the legislation. Dutton is going to need all the assistance from One Nation, because depending on the number of seats that they have, I'll tell you why. Because I've seen in the Senate the progressives of the Liberal Party that don't back common sense policies. So Dutton's going to have an issue with some of his progressives in the Senate. That's where he needs One Nation to back him for his legislation coming through. So I suggest to people, you want to back One Nation.
I reckon he'd trade a couple of you guys for a couple of them any day, but we shall see. Thanks for joining us, Pauline. I appreciate it, Pauline. They're up in Cairns. It looks splendid up there, doesn't it?